Hello, Engineering 110. Engineering programming, learning to use the computer to uh, perform various engineering-related tasks. One of those tasks was to invert matrices. So we're not learning the ins and outs of how to invert a matrix. We are trying to learn, though, how to use some code to do it and uh, what kinds of problems might arise. So one type of problem that arises is solving sets of equations. So here I have an example up here at the top, solving a set of 3 equations and 3 unknowns. So when solving this using a matrix-based approach, the first thing we have to do is put it in a matrix matrix form. So we have to get all the variables to the left side of the equation and all the terms without a variable on the right side of the equation. And notice how I've written all the x's in one column, all the y's in another column, and all the z's in another column. We have the equal signs and then all of the numbers. Okay? And then we can write our matrix version. We will write this as a set of numbers called A. That's the name of our matrix. A set of variables call it Z, and another set of numbers here called B. Okay? So this and that mean the same thing. They're like two words, two synonyms for the same thing. We haven't really done any math yet. We've just changed how we've written it. But writing it this way, on the right with the matrix version, gives us kind of a way of thinking of it in that's a little bit easier. So we write this equation as a matrix A times Z equals B, and we can solve it by applying the inverse of A to both sides of the equation, and we get Z is equal to A inverse times B. And remember, Z is the variables X, Y, and Z that we're trying to find. Okay, so to solve this, we have to use our code to find the inverse of A, and then we have to multiply it by B. So first thing we have to do in our code is create the matrix A. We can do that using this constructor, and then setting the individual values. How many individual values are there going to be? Go ahead, say it out loud. Don't be shy. Correct, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I think it's kind of useful in your code if you keep yourself organized the same way. So this statement sets the first value to a 3. You'd set the next one to a -5, and then a 2. And then you go on to the next row, and then finally the last row. Okay? You'll also have to create matrix B. Matrix B is not a 3 by 3 matrix, though. I'll let you think about what that would need to be. Okay? Then you have to get the inverse of matrix A. Okay, so you'll use this command, a.invert. And then to get matrix Z, you just multiply whatever you got as the inverse of A times B. So that's you have to use the multiplication function. It takes 2 inputs, A inverse and B, and that will give you Z. Finally, to get your answer, you should print it out. Okay, now go on to Blackboard and try the